Connecting EML modules. Opening energy turbines. Output at 80%. Setting correction A-OK. 90, 95. I won't miss.
So how the am I playing this game back to back for the third time in a row, but I haven't got bored? I would say I even got more addicted. Considering the fact that on each run, 80% of the missions are the same. Of course, we have New Game Plus, New Game Plus Plus. The story changes a lot, but still the missions that we played 2, 3 times, 4 times, they are not getting boring. And it's mostly linear single-player action game. Yes, it has PvP, but let's focus on the campaign. On the surface, Armored Core 6 doesn't look like a game that has such a replayability value. Like, for example, we have a lot of RPG games that are designed to be replayable. Baldur's Gate 3, where you can pick any character, any race, where you choose the dialogue options. This is like a DNA of this game, and this is a DNA of a lot of RPG games. But Armored Core 6 is an action game with linear campaign, and 80% of the missions on the New Game and the New Game Plus Plus are the same. But why it doesn't get boring to play them over and over again? You can easily squeeze out like 100 hours from this game, and you know, it almost never goes on sale because it's FromSoftware that we are talking about. But I think if you pay like $40 for 100 hours of great gameplay, this is a pretty good transaction. I think the true magic of this game is not about what is changing in the game, it's about what is changing in you. You know, I think FromSoftware, after creating so many games, so many Armored Core games and Souls games, they figured out the formula to make people replay their games and have the desire to master the skill, have the desire to become better. The only game that I can think about that made me feel the same was Doom Eternal. It was one of the games that I played back to back. When I finished it this exact day, I just started a new playthrough on a higher difficulty, on Nightmare. It almost never got boring for me because each run was like an attempt to create a short action film. Each run feels a little bit different, but at the same time, you can learn what will happen when, and you want to perfect that run. You want to avoid all the damage, you want to destroy everyone as quick as possible. And because missions are so short, it almost reminds me like you're playing Guitar Hero or Beat Saber on VR, where you just go over again and again with the same song and you try to do everything perfectly, and it almost never gets boring. In Armored Core 6, so many people are mentioning that usually they don't like to platinum a game and they don't like to do S ranking on all the missions, but they did it in Armored Core 6. You know, I really liked the feature in the old games. After arena fight, you can watch a replay, and then I think you can even save it. And I wish they had this feature here. Maybe also with like a free camera, you know, so that you could save the replay of your amazing run and then share it. And I think the game would benefit a lot from this kind of feature. There is this feeling of flow, and the action, it's just so polished. I have a video about why Armored Core 6 action feels so good, and you can watch it after this. Or don't. And the missions are pretty short. I think they are like 15 minutes at most, but most of the time they can be like 5 minutes. And it actually feels like you have to repeat this one perfect sequence of actions. But it's very hard to get it perfectly, so that's why you want to try it again. Now, another thing that I want to say is that this game is... Yesterday, I played throughout the whole New Game Plus to get to the New Game Plus Plus faster. I finished somewhere at 5 p.m. and I thought, alright, I'm done for today with this game and I will just relax, watch The Boys, maybe play a little Balatro somewhere in the background. But you know what I ended up doing? I ended up in the freaking assembly in Armored Core. I ended up in test runs, I ended up switching weapons, creating some perfect synergy of weapons, boosters, generators, generator. It's addicting to create your own combos. Because when you have 4 weapons, and I think in this game the best way to play is to use actually 4 of your fingers on the triggers, not 2 like we used to do. I can charge my energy weapon, and while charging this weapon, I can shoot with these weapons, switch them up, shoot some rockets. When I will break the enemy's armor, the stance, I then release my energy weapon and it shots with like the full power. And that's just one way to create these kind of combos. Share in the comments what are your favorite combos like this, or you can go to my Discord and share it out there. We have a lot of great people already there. And while performing all those combos, don't forget to dodge and avoid everything, and it just creates this state of pure focus on each small aspect. If you will stop being focused on what you are doing, on where you're dodging, on the defense, on the attack, you lose. Of course, as in most of games, you can play it the boring way. You can look up some overpowered build online, create the copy of it, and then just try to tangle the damage and go through the game easily. But I think that's the least fun way to play any game, especially Armored Core. Creating a build is something that you can sunk tens of hours in. You can play it for like 5 hours straight and just do one mission, for example. Because the whole thing, you were in assembly and you were creating and testing your new builds. Trying to find the one that just feels cool and looks cool. And this game has this aspect of you being a badass. You want to be a badass. You want your build to be thematic around energy weapons, around rockets or missiles. Your imagination here and the fact that you can implement your ideas is what creates the joy from this game. And I think the main point why Armored Core has such a replayability is that, you know, even in the Souls series, we had these stupid bonfire runs. I love Souls games, but I still think that it's kind of cheap to make a game harder with this kind of mechanic. You have to do a crazy run to the boss before fighting a boss, and you cannot take any damage during that run because otherwise you will not have enough flasks for the boss. It's just tedious stuff to make a game harder. Because of this, I actually stopped playing Hollow Knight Silk Song because of this infamous run to the judge boss. I just didn't want to do it anymore. The boss is very hard itself, and that run is, I don't know. Armored Core doesn't do anything like it. Some runs in those Souls games are taking more time than the actual mission in Armored Core. That's why it never feels like a drag. It's always high-octane action. Except one of my least favorite missions is the one where you have to be undetected. And I lost so many times because I got detected, and that one is something that I didn't like. But otherwise, nothing feels like a drag. The game doesn't really do a lot of change of pacing. You know how a lot of games, they want, like, after the action sequence, there is a, I don't know, climbing sequence, or then there is a sneak sequence. Otherwise, if they won't do it, the actual fun missions, the fun stuff will get boring because you will get used to it. Armored Core 6, same as Doom Eternal in my opinion, they found a way to make the action not boring, even though there is a whole gameplay between the narrative pieces and cutscenes. You just know that you can turn on this game and try to perfect one mission today, and you will retry that run, same as you will do in those Guitar Hero games. During my university days, I played so much tap, where you have to use 3 fingers to click the appropriate buttons during the song. I loved that game so much. I was addicted to it, and I became really good at it. And it's not boring, even though it's the same song over and over again, because there is almost nothing in between. You go from being a badass to feeling more badass, to then honing your skill and trying to record a video of that perfect run and share it and brag about it. And again, I will say that I think FromSoftware knew that this game will have such an effect on players. They already perfected this formula with the old AC games. It had the same structure, and people replayed it because the game had a lot of different endings, and you also can create a lot of different builds. So they knew that making you play a game 3 times in a row back to back with some additional missions and changes in the story will not make you bored. This is my minute of admiration to FromSoftware again. The fact that they were making Elden Ring, Sekiro, Armored Core. These are kind of different games, but they all are perfection in what they are trying to be. And you know, if you will finish everything, all the missions S-ranked, no damage, find all the logs, you will eventually put this game down, but you will have this feeling that you want more, a DLC, you want a next game like this. Because of that, if you haven't played the older games, you will go and play those. That's what happens to me right now. I think if you play through the campaign 3 times and still want more, that's a legacy of a truly replayable and addictive game. Leave a comment which games made you feel the same way. I think we would benefit a lot if we could try to recreate this feeling that, for example, for me, Armored Core 6 created. I haven't finished New Game Plus Plus yet, but I'm on my way and I am not spoiled about the story, so please no spoilers in the comments, and when I will finish it, I will create a video about what do I think about the story. If you haven't seen my previous videos on Armored Core 6, I suggest you check them out. Maybe you will like them. And subscribe to my Discord. If you want to support me, to support this work that I'm doing, you can join the membership, vote for the next videos, and I can show you my process of making those. And all right, thank you for watching. Take care. See you next time.